the energy of a system or an object. An object under study is called a system, or a group of objects under study form a system. So, one or more objects together which is being studied is called a system. Okay, so what is energy of a system, or simply meaning what is the energy of an object? Okay, so whenever we do work on an object or a system, you have to spend energy. That energy, we already know that energy cannot be created or destroyed in law of conservation of energy. Law of conservation of energy. So conservation laws are so unique. These laws help us to understand this physical world, the objective physical world, in a more efficient manner. So why they do, we do not know. But we know that these things are happening. So one such thing that we can never ever do is creation of energy. So only one form of energy can be converted to another form, but you can never create or destroy energy. So what law of conservation of energy says that we cannot create or destroy energy. So create or destroy energy. You cannot do that. So you cannot do that. Only energy in one form. So energy in one form can be converted into energy in another form. For instance, we can use sunlight to produce heat energy. There, the light energy is converted into heat energy. We can use that heat energy or the sunlight to produce electricity. So here the solar energy is converted into electrical energy. So you can only convert one form of energy into another form of energy, but you cannot create or destroy energy. This is one conservation law that helped us to understand this objective physical world in a more efficient way. So the more number of conservation laws we know, we understand more of this world. For example, the entire chemistry depends on how this entire chemistry developed is because of one conservation law that we know, that is mass conservation. Mass conservation, because we know that mass cannot be created or destroyed. So the total mass of the reactants is equal to total mass of the products. So because we know this very clearly, all this chemistry developed. So how oxygen reacts with water, suppose if this many grams of oxygen and hydrogens combined, this many grams of water formed, then from oxygen and hydrogen only water formed. All those things we can understand only if we know this mass conservation. So this is conservation of mass, this is conservation of energy. So here when we do work without spending energy, you cannot do work. So whatever amount of work done on a system, so that means work is done on a system means energy is given to a system, hence it increases the energy of the system, increases the energy of a system. And if work is done by a system, if work is done by a system, that means the system is spending or the system is doing work from the energy it has, then the energy of the system will go down. So it decreases the energy of the system, decreases the energy of that system. This decreases the energy of that system. Okay, so what types of energy we can categorize? Okay, so basically we are going to look at two major parts. One is kinetic energy, the other one is potential energy. Kinetic energy and the other one is potential energy. Okay, what is kinetic energy? If work done increases the motion of the energy, then, or if the work done produces motion of a system, then the energy is said to be kinetic energy. We know already that V square is equal to U square plus 2AS. Just multiply by half m on both the sides of the equation. We get half m V square equal to half m U square plus half m into 2AS. 2 and 2 will be cancelled. So half mv square, let me bring this to this side, minus half mu square equal to m into a is force is equal to mass into acceleration, so it is force into displacement. Force into displacement, we have been looking at it, which is work done. So that is half mv square minus half mu square. Now you see, work is on the right hand side, half m into square of the velocity on the left hand side. That means if it is work, then the work is equivalent of energy. If this is energy, then these two must be forms of energy. But look at these forms. Here velocity is there, here also velocity is there. If you set velocity 0, this whole energy term becomes 0. So this energy term survives because of the velocity. That's why this energy due to velocity, we call this kinetic energy. So if it is u initial velocity, let me call it initial kinetic energy, and this is final velocity, let me call it final kinetic energy minus, so this is equal to work done. So in other words, work done changes the kinetic energy from initial to final. That means k final minus k initial, that is change in kinetic energy. So the work done on an object changes the kinetic energy of the system. That means it produces motion, or it means it adds motion to the object. Suppose if the object is initially at rest, u becomes 0, so this becomes 0, then the work done will be in the form of half m v square. So whatever work that you do on a system, that changes the kinetic energy of the system, but not necessarily always. Let me just take another example. Suppose you have a spring kind. Suppose you have a spring, and this is in its natural length, which is neither compressed nor elongated. Then what you do, you hold on to this end, and you try to pull this. When you try to pull, then the spring will be stretched like this. Now when you release, it will try to come back. So you spent energy to stretch it from here to here. You stretched it. When you release, it uses, because it has more energy, it uses that energy to come back to its original shape, size, and position. So here it is a spring, and you did work on the spring, an unstretched spring. Suppose it is unstretched spring plus work gives you either stretched spring, or you can even compress the spring, a compressed spring. So when you release, after leaving it, it becomes again unstretched spring. How did that do? Because the unstretched spring plus work, that means you are adding energy. When you add energy, that energy changes the configuration from unstretched condition to stretched or compressed condition. So the configuration changes. So unstretched spring plus work gives you either stretched or compressed spring, means the configuration of the spring changes. So the energy possessed by configuration is called potential energy. Another example, suppose you have this catapult, and there is an elastic band here, and if you put some effort and you stretch it from here to here, So this is unstretched rubber band. This is the stretched one. The stretched one will have more energy. When you release it, it gives kinetic energy to the stone. So here the energy possessed by a system because of the configuration is called potential energy. One most important potential energy is what we are going to discuss about, that is gravitational potential energy. Gravitational potential energy. Potential energy. In simple terms, we call it simply potential energy. Suppose there is a ground and you are having an object here, its mass is m. We have already seen in the weight problem that if its mass is m, the downward force exerted by gravity on this object is mg. If this downward force is mg, to lift the object you have to provide a minimum force of F minimum upward must be equal to mg. When you apply this force here in the upward direction, it moves the object from here to here. Suppose this is the initial position, this is the final position. So the displacement is equal to height of the object now. So when you move an object from lower position to higher position, somewhat higher position, under gravity, you have to exert a force mg and that produces a displacement h. Then the work done is force into displacement. The amount of work, force you applied is minimum mg into displacement here is h. So the work done is equal to mgh. This amount of work done is on this object, changes the configuration of the object from here to here, and that is stored in the object as energy. That energy we call potential energy. Its form is mgh. That is why when you release the object, it has more energy. That is why it falls, because with that energy it is doing work, where by doing work it is coming down, and moreover it starts moving means whatever its energy it has, that is converting that into motion. That means that is transforming that potential energy into kinetic energy. Suppose if an object is either moving upward or downward from the ground, suppose this is the ground, then this object, because it is moving with some velocity v, it has kinetic energy which is half m v square, and because it is at a height h from the ground, then it will have potential energy which is mgh. So if an object is under the influence of gravity and is moving means the total energy of an object must be equal to its kinetic energy plus potential energy. The kinetic energy form is half m v square and potential energy form is mgh. So this mgh plus kinetic energy is total energy. This total energy is always conserved. Total energy is always conserved. That means the total energy will not change at all. So how is it going to help us to understand a few things? Let us try this particular thing. Suppose on the ground there is a ball and you are throwing this ball upwards with a speed of 20 meters per second. Let me choose another value. So 30 meters per second. If you throw this object, to what maximum height it can go? Suppose that is our question. So what is the maximum height it can go? If that is our question, we have already solved this question using equations of motion. But we can also solve this question by conservation of energy. When the object is on the ground, its height is 0. Let us call this position as the first position. At the highest point, its position, second position. So energy, the total energy at the first position must be equal to total energy at the second position, because energy is conserved. So the total energy at the first position is its kinetic energy and potential energy. So the kinetic energy is half m into velocity 1 square, because the object's mass is m, and here we have given a velocity v1 plus its height h1. So m g h1, and let us call this height as h2 and velocity here is v2. Then this is equal to half m v2 square plus m g h2. Now you see, at the position 1 the height is 0, at position 2 height is the maximum height h2. So the h2 is the height maximum, and h1 is 0 height. H1 is equal to 0. Let me put it 0. Then this equation becomes like this: half m v1 square equal to half m v2 square plus m g into height maximum. But we know that when you throw a ball, it goes and goes on, and finally at the highest point it has to return back. Before it returns back, it moves and stays there for a while and comes back. For a moment it comes to rest at the highest point. So if the height is maximum height, then the velocity at the maximum height is 0. When the height is height maximum, velocity at this point is 0. So the kinetic energy becomes 0. So half m v1 square must be equal to mg into height maximum. Then m and m will be cancelled. Then v1 square, and we know that v1 is 30 meter per second, so 30 whole square by 2 equal to, gravity is approximately 10 into height maximum. So 30 square is 900 by 2 equal to 10 into height maximum. So 0 and 0 will be cancelled, so it becomes 45. So the maximum height reached by a body when it is thrown upwards with the speed of 30 meter per second is 45 meters. This you can get using a simple S is equal to ut plus half at square formula also. Ut plus half at square, or you can use another formula for this case, is v square is equal to u square plus 2as. Suppose you are throwing it upwards, when you project the initial velocity is 30, so initial velocity u is 30, so it is 30 square. At the highest point velocity is 0, so it is 0 square, and acceleration is gravity, which is 10. Displacement is the maximum height, h maximum. So what you will get, so 30 square is 900, and plus 2 into acceleration is downward, so it is minus 10, and height maximum is upward, so which is 0. So that means 20h is equal to 900, h is equal to 45, because we know that from this equation only we derived this. So obviously it will work out, but here what is added is the work done is added. So these two are different ways of, I mean, writing the same conditions.